welcome to another episode of Word Up with my very good friend here, Paddy Raff. We've got a brilliant episode. We've already had a great chat, actually, haven't we?
Started early.
We did. We started early, but you want to know something? Actually, I brought you something nice.
I'm going to take my chewing gum out. That's awful cheeky of me.
No, it's dead on. Take your wee chewing gum out. We're easy going here, Paddy. In case you haven't noticed, we're not.
Just one of these wee bags you keep. You never throw that bag out.
I never throw this bag out. Greta Thunberg would absolutely love me.
Bestie.
There's still like a part of me inside. Do you know I went to lift something the other day? And I went, why am I still going for the princess shit? Like, why am I still 10?
Just ingrained you.
And then I went, fuck it. I'm getting the Marvel. You know, there was like an Avengers all bag. And I went, I'll get that one. Because the kids will love it. And then I went, nah, fuck it, I'm getting Beauty and the Beast. Do you know, like I'm standing there having a dilemma going.
I don't care. I go into Lidl with bags like that all the time.
Do you love it?
Shit. Yeah.
Do you know there's nothing sexier than a daddy, right? Like, see, whenever I see a man, like, with a wee girl's school bag on his back or something, like that, I don't know. No, but I'm just like...
Imagine that in your Google search history.
Yeah.
Older man with kid's school bag over his shoulder.
Yeah. You might get something a bit illegal.
That's why you do the school runs all the time.
That's it. You see the daddies on the school run and go, oh, he's so good. Look at him, he's even pushing the wee pram and everything. Do you know, like I go, fuck, that's sexy. Yeah. It's just like, I'm not afraid. Do you know the daddies that do the tea parties and all with their wee girls?
Let the kids do their makeup and all.
Yeah.
But see the hat? I'm Mrs. Nesbitt.
I am Mrs. That is my...
I haven't seen this now. I hate when people
Toy Story.
Oh, right, okay. Right.
When Buzz Lightyear is having his meltdown. When he realises he's a toy.
Yes. And he's
sitting drinking at the tea party and it goes, come on, Buzz. And he goes, I am not Buzz. I am Mrs. Nesbitt. Do you know my sister quoted that to me before whenever she was having a mental breakdown with her kids? And I was like, what's going on? Is everything okay, Maria? And she went, you know that scene in Toy Story where Buzz is Mrs. Nesbitt? She was like, I could just picture, she was like, I'm having a tea party with the girls. And I'm on a trail my fucking hair out. I am Mrs. Nesbitt. Yeah. We had a wee thing on this where we were talking about like off-brand biscuits and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like
Prongles.
Right? What did you call? Oh, do you know the way you call in Lidl? There's do you know the way you can get hunky dories?
Oh yeah, Heidi Doodies.
Heidi Doodies, right?
Oh,
but I saw these the other day. Do you know the way you can get Percy Pigs and M&S?
Yeah.
Right.
What have we got? Pigs mugs? They just couldn't make anything.
That sounds so appetizing.
Yeah, just checked out. They're like, Percy Pigs are fucking pigs mugs.
Pigs mugs.
That's a Friday afternoon job where they're like, here, come on, there's fucking chalk off. I call them pigs mugs.
It's what is it? It's faces. It's pigs' faces. Pigs mugs.
So these for me.
Yeah, these are for you.
The kids will love them.
I just thought.
Who wants a pig's mug?
Who wants a pig's mug? It sounds like something that you would offer.
Can I taste them? Can we do the taste test?
Doesn't it? Do the taste test and see whether or not they actually taste like a Percy pig.
Right.
I noticed that they don't have the pinker ear, so I'm not sure whether or not they're going to be.
Want one?
Let's see then. Okay.
The lost out on the pink ear during the legal battle.
Want one?
That
was the.
That was the
copyrighted bit. That
they're nice.
Smoking gun.
They're all right.
The pink ear. They are all right.
They're dead on.
Yeah, they're dead on.
Pigs mugs.
They're lovely.
Imagine giving like
£6.
For pigs mugs.
That's a bit pricey for.
I thought you could
like.
could have actually got a big massive packet of the proper Percy pigs.
Ones.
Proper Percy pigs. There's some nice alliteration there.
To start, that's.
To start off with, just for that. But there you go. You can give the kids a wee treat whenever you get home and you talk. Here, right, we actually spoke about this because I want you to tell me this story again.
What was this?
The word of the week for this week is, okay?
All right. Mendacious? Did I say that?
Mendacious.
Right.
You didn't say it.
Right,
but
okay, because I don't know what it is.
you put me in mind. Whenever I think of mendacious, I think of a lot of people from around the road, right? And mendacious is
a new name
a
for
nice word
kids.
For a
mendacious, come here. Off them swings.
I wouldn't be fucking surprised.
Mendacious.
Did I tell you about the time I was in the bank, in the Ulster Bank in the Andytown Road, and somebody turned around and went to their kid, Ronaldo, get over here. I went, not even Cristiano.
Yeah.
Fucking Ronaldo. Right on child. I was just like, you better be good at football, kid, or you're fucked.
Do you remember we told you about lasagna?
Yes,
Ages
lasagna.
apart.
And then I was talking
One of my
about
auntie's
it.
mates,
Yeah, do you know?
Back in the 70s.
Lasagna. I spoke about you on the podcast because I was like, who was it that I was talking to? It must have been just after we get back from London.
Yes.
And lasagna. And I was like, who was it? And I was going to Sean. Was it you who was telling me about? So everybody, it was Paddy
So
Raff.
you've remembered, so it was lasagna.
It was Paddy Raff that told me about lasagna. And I was like, there definitely was, right? And it was wee Sarah Jade was on and she was like, no.
No,
You know that I got, after that clip was released, actually it was only the other day, there was this wee girl, this girl got in touch with me and said, that's my mummy.
Oh, no.
And she said, I've been laughing my head
Was
off.
she called coleslaw or something? We say.
Wee garlic saute.
We soties.
Wee soties.
See the garlic saute
Carbonara.
thing? I love garlic. See garlic saute, right? Garlic saute potatoes, but see soties, right? Soties, that's the West Belfast way of saying soties.
Yeah.
But you know the best way I heard this, right? And I wanted to put this in the stand-up, was I love when they come out. And I swear to God, like one of the restaurants around the road, they come out with a bowl of garlic saute potatoes, and the girl says, "Who's the wee toady bowl of garlic soties? The wee toady bowl of garlic soties." And it's like, "Who's the wee toady bowl of garlic soties? The garlic soties." Who's the wee toady bowl of garlic soties? Like, that sounds like a completely different language altogether.
Yeah.
A wee toady bowl of garlic
She
soties.
sounds like the daughter of Dr. Zeus or something. Like, toady bowl of garlic soties.
Toady bowl of garlic soties.
Who's with the wee toady bowl of garlic soties?
Just rolled off the tongue. Wee toady bowl of garlic soties. And everybody's just looking at it. Wee toady bowl of garlic soties.
It's got a better flow than Eminem.
Yeah. That sounds like...
You just put a beat to that. You've had number one hit for fuck's sake.
It was around the same time that my cousin, we were sitting in, we were on Lisburn Road actually, very big town. It was, remember Albany? It's not called that now.
It had the lovely wee awning out the front and stuff, yeah.
So we were sitting there and this guy was serving us, he was like French or whatever, and he came over and he was like, what were you having dessert? And we were like, yeah, and my cousin said there was a chocolate ganache, and we were talking about whether we were going to get, who was going, the ganache looks good, and he was waiting on us, we're trying to speak, like break up our English so he could hear, and my cousin turned around and went, you gonna get a ganache? And then
Scaramouche.
You're gonna get a ganache. I'm gonna get a ganache. You're gonna get a ganache. I'm gonna get a ganache. And this guy's just looking at us. What the fuck are you saying? You're gonna get a ganache. I'm gonna get a ganache. You're gonna get a ganache. I'm not gonna get a ganache. You're gonna get a ganache. Like, this doesn't sound like English.
He's rang an ambulance.
We toady bowl of garlic soties. I'm gonna get a ganache.
She's gonna get a ganache.
The guy's just like, I'll bring the manager over.
He's going, these people are on speed.
He speaks better English than us, like. But
yeah,
he's like,
you're doing broken English, and he's like, mate.
I'm sorry, I don't speak any English.
I'm serving a table of M&M's over here.
You're gonna get a ganache? I'm gonna get a ganache. My friend actually was saying to me there that she can't take the word goulash seriously now because back in our uni days, I love her. I can't even say it. I love her Ma's goulash.
Oh, see your Ma's goulash.
Right.
No, to somebody's house, so I'm sorry, that's my goulash you're smelling.
My so I kept going, smell your Ma's goulash, right? And she was going, Bronagh, stop saying that, like stop. And might I actually add that her mother happens to be MLA and Councillor Geraldine Holland McAteer. so now I still love her. She's good.
You can't vote for her because of the goulash?
Because of the goulash, yeah. Well, we'll not talk about the goulash. The goulash, but I love saying her, like, smell your goulash. She's like, Bronagh, fuck's sake, I'm standing for, but
out canvassing.
Yeah, she's out canvassing, like, please. I'm like, this woman makes an excellent goulash. She's fucking brilliant.
I've been getting this goulash ready for you all day.
Yeah, but Aoife was making one the other day, and I came down to your house, and I was like, what is this? She just like stopped mid spoon and was like,
please.
You know what it is.
I can't say.
You know what it is.
What is goulash anyway? I've never think about
It's
it.
like a stew.
It's like stroganoff. Kind of.
Hungarian stew.
Yes. What is it?
Hungarian?
An
you go.
Hungarian stew.
Do you ever hear the joke? I think somebody says I was entering in my password. It's not mine. Like entering in my password at the or choosing a new password from email, and I typed in goulash, and it said password's not stroganoff. It's a
That
cracker
is
in it.
fucking brilliant.
It's not mine.
Well done. Well done.
Password is not stroganoff.
Not stroganoff. Do you ever be putting your do you ever put your password in, right? And it's like you've forgotten the password. Now, this isn't. I have seen people, this is a recognised thing now. But I went, fuck yeah, that's right. You're putting in your password and it goes, incorrect password. Put it in again, incorrect password. Okay, I'll change my password. And then you go to change your password and it says, password cannot be previous password.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
like, what the fuck is it? Like, what's going on
so
here?
annoying. Yeah.
Yeah, PA55WRD.
That from the old call centre days. Anytime you worked in that's what it was. Like, stop using that. That is the easiest password
Did
to get
you?
into.
I worked in the call centre and that's
Yep.
what it was. PA55. Who did you work for?
Oh, I did them all. Well, but not all. But it like HCL and the Boucher Road.
Same.
Then what do you call the one? First Source, in down behind City Hall, and then over in Bangor.
Yeah.
But that's what I was going to say when you asked me, like, do you want a coffee? And I was like, I hate whenever like people say we're going out for coffee, meet for a coffee.
Coffee.
I'm like, I don't drink coffee, and I feel like a big kid when you go out and you're like, can I get tea or can I have? And then some.
Can I just say something? Curtis is one of those people. He's a friggin' strange one, isn't he? It's because he's English. I'm only joking. He's the weirdest English person ever because he doesn't even drink tea, and he goes into people's houses for a living because he's a spark, and people always say, "Do you want a wee tea or a coffee?" And he doesn't take either, and they're like, "What do I do?" And he's like, have you got a hot chocolate?
Big
I was
kid.
like, but you can't actually do that. Like, you can't. I was like, no, I can't. But like, there has been times where they've opened the cupboard and they're like, anything, and I go, have we hot chocolate?
We options.
Yeah.
Remember that? But
39 calories.
When I worked in the call centre, then one of the call centres I worked in, I was a trainer, and I used to they were like, does anybody want to do Nespresso or coming? And they need a trainer, and they need a few trainers. I was like, I'll do it. Anything to get off what it was on. I think it was on like B&Q. It was a nightmare. And I was like, I'll do it. And Nespresso, the Nespresso machines that you get in all of the pods. But at the time, the only way you could get the pods, once you'd bought it, and you had to ring.
Subscription.
You had to ring the call centre or whatever, the hotline. And I was like, I'll do it. And they said, but you have to like coffee. And I was like, yeah, I like coffee. And I fucking don't. I thought, are they going to check? Boy, did they fucking check.
Really?
So the guys came over from England, these guys, class suits, they just got George Clooney on to do the adverts and all. So it was this whole big thing. Cardboard cutouts of George Clooney on the boardroom. I walked in and I'm looking about for the other trainers. I'm like waiting them coming in. I'm like, anybody else? Like, no, it's just us. There's 3 of them and me. And they opened up this big tray of every flavour they have. Like, so Paddy, if you're going to train trainers how to sell the coffee, you're going to have to be able to taste it yourself, enjoy it, and describe it. So if you can't taste it, then you can't sell it. So let's get cracking. I was like, oh my God.
It was that moment.
Well, yeah. How did I tell these? I don't like coffee. So I had to fucking taste this stuff. And it tasted like compacted soil. Like it was I was just fucking gagging. And I had to sit there. And then eventually I had to go and train people. And they were like, how do we... I was just like, we're going to just drink. I just made them drink it and say, make up your own words or whatever. Yeah. People were ringing me and I was going, are you sure you don't want to go on to tea,
Yeah.
It's far fucking cheaper.
We'll have some nice green tea here if you're feeling a bit PT.
A bit of Earl Grey.
Is that how you get into the Nigel character? You were like, this is the kind of
The
thing
teas.
Nigel would love.
Yep.
Yeah.
See, for a while, every family party had a cardboard cutout of George Clooney, and I'm wondering now, is it just all people who worked in call centres?
That's right, actually. There was loads of them.
Was there?
I read enough because Brenda Murphy did that play, A Night with George.
Yes.
And it was the big cardboard
It's a
cutout.
big cultural thing.
It's from this special.
Cardboard cutout of
Art
George
was
Clooney.
born from that.
It's like people's like hen do's. There was always a cardboard cutout of George Clooney. Your auntie's fucking 40th. Cardboard cutout of George Clooney.
That's so
Going
true.
to wake your ma up in the morning to ask her for your £2 for school. She was laying in bed with a big cardboard cutout of George Clooney, for fuck's sake. Yes.
So good.
Falling apart.
Waterproof.
Absolutely falling apart. Like, Mummy, why is George Clooney's face shredding? Like, why is it moist? Moist. But yeah, speaking of M words,
Okay.
mendacious is another word for a liar.
Okay, yeah.
Right? So I love it because I came across this other word, and it was about people who have a fear of liars, right? And I thought, well, what's a really interesting word for a liar? And then mendacious. And I just was thinking about, and I love the fact that it began with men.
That was noticed, yeah.
Mendacious. But I was, I like getting words that we can use in our everyday, like whenever, and there's so many people. I'm dead easily taken in, believe it or not. Like whenever people are talking to me, you were saying earlier on about being in the van or the wedding van, right? So is it okay if we talk about that joke? Because it's stuck in my head.
I've been doing it years now.
So Paddy has this bit. I killed myself laughing. I don't know how I hadn't heard it yet, but I was standing there last night and he was talking. Why don't you tell me
So it came about
being
from
in the van?
Used to play in a wedding band, driving, and Sean will know the crack. When you're driving the long journeys, you get into like the weirdest conversations, conspiracy theories, everything. And so we're driving down and we had to learn Ed Sheeran, Castle on the Hill had just come out, and we had to learn it for this wedding. And we did that thing of saying, we'll all learn it, we'll all learn it. And then everybody gets into the van, and they're like, well, we'll stick it on because none of us wants to admit none of us have learned it. So we're all like, so we're listening to it.
Just put it on there.
Just stick it on. Everybody's concentrating like, fuck, count 1, 2, 3, 4, G to B minor. So I knew this bit was coming up in the song, and I started roping them in with the story, and I says, did you know remember the wee fella went missing called Ken Jobs? And they were like, who? I was like, it was on the news years ago. We fella went missing, Ken Jobs. And he was found, and they were like, "Oh, I can't remember that." I was like, "Well, it was Ed Sheeran that actually, found Ken Jobs, him and his mates. They brought him home, and they got like the reward." And you don't know that? And they're like, "No, I never heard this." And I was like, "Well, he doesn't mention it in any interviews, but if you listen to the song, and it came in at timed it at the right time to finish the story." I was like, "If you listen to this bit, and it goes, take me back to when we found weekend jobs, and we got paid, we bought cheap spirits and drank them." And like, so our drummer never really laughed at anything I said, and he near Christ laughing. And then they knew that I had been talking about maybe doing stand up at some stage. They were like, you have to do that. And I was like, how can you get on stage and do something as stupid as that? So I remember the first couple of gigs I did, I had that joke and I ducked out of doing it. When you've got a bit or a joke where you go, if this doesn't land, it's going to be the most awkward thing. Yeah. And then after a few gigs, I was getting fine my feet. I was like, I'm going to do it tonight.
Yeah, you work up to it.
And I worked up, and then I did it, and it absolutely killed. And it's one of those jokes that in a big room, when somebody gets it right away, and then it takes about 3 or 4 seconds for the last person to get it, and you just get more. And it's like, so I love doing it, but I
cackled last night like a fucking witch whenever I heard that. So naturally, whenever I get into the house, I was saying to Curtis, he was actually, I'm telling lies, he fell asleep. And whenever he woke up this morning, it was like I was lying there waiting on him waking up. I was like, wait to hear this. And he was like, what's going on now? Sorry. Like still trying to wake up. And I was like,
Ed Sheeran joke.
There was a wee kid called Ken Jobs. I tried to word it. It was like, no, don't say wee kid because that's giving it away. I was like,
exactly.
Do you know what I mean? I was like, there was this kid and he was like, really? And I went, yeah, wee Ken Jobs. And then he laughed. So as I was coming in here and I was on the phone to him, I was like humming it, and then I noticed that he was humming it, and I was like, you're still thinking of that Paddy Raff joke, aren't you? But see that mendacious behaviour that we tend to have over here. Like, my dad gets me all the time. Like, he'll rope me in, and I'll really think that something is serious, and then he'll just fucking, it'll be a joke. Yeah. But it's really bad in some ways because whenever people are actually telling me serious stuff now, should you remember us when we were sitting in the airport? You, me and Claire.
Is this on the way home from...
This is on the way to London.
Okay, because I was really hungover coming home, so I might remember
you were hungover. We just left you alone. We were trying to fan you at one stage, I think, because you were down, but that's good. You were entitled to. You were on your holidays. But we were in the airport, and Claire is Paddy's sister, and we were all having a wee conversation.
Have you had Claire on here?
No, she hasn't come on yet. She's a wee bit nervous about it. But I said, you're just come on for a laugh. So, Claire... Get on, get your ass on. You're being called out. We were sitting and we were having a serious conversation because, well, it wasn't really serious because it was about makeup, but I had said it. But perfect. I can't stop calling it that now. I went to the Be Perfect stand and I was buzzing because I got this primer that they had, and Paddy was going, "But perfect."
Because it was saying every, like, Belfast people, women over a certain age love dropping out the BE or BY, it becomes B apostrophe. So like they say, I'd you know, can I pay by card?
Yes.
Instead of can I pay by card?
Yes.
And I heard somebody talk, and I like kind of added to it, where I heard a woman saying, you know, somebody says, "Did you go out the other night?" And says, "Oh, I was took out by Harry to Six Benico." You know?
Six Benico.
But they were there by 7, so we went to taxi. We were sat by the window by the waiter who was bisexual. You know?
Bisexual's a good one.
Like, but Harry was in a bad mood. His son's being just diagnosed. He's bipolar.
Bipolar.
So anything, there's a B
That
apostrophe.
really is a thing,
And we've
actually.
started extending it now. I was like, you know, I was going to say I was chatting to once last night, you know, about diversity and you know, diversity. It's like we're so bad with diversity here, we can't even say it. We say diversity.
Diversity.
D apostrophe diversity.
Yeah, we apostrophize things that don't need apostrophize, and then we put in extra syllables for things that don't. Like Curtis can't get over how a lot of people over here safety. But we say safety.
Aye.
Safety. Safety. Say fucking safety.
Littles is.
Littles.
And then so littles is like pluralizing things, and you go, that's that littles is. That's littles is, isn't it? That's littles is. You're gonna get a ganache. I'm gonna get littles is ganache.
A littles is ganache.
So hold on, what was the mendacious behaviour to do with the makeup or the story
mendacious,
that was being?
Because we have such difficulty determining now who is being mendacious and who isn't. You actually, it was really insightful from a man, because Claire was like, then by this stage we'd already started referring to it as "be perfect," right? And I was going, she went, "Did you get that be perfect?" And I was like, "I did get the be perfect. I got the yak and Sue be perfect." And you turned around and said, "Yak and Sue, that's the girl that was on Love Island." And like, Claire started laughing or something, and then I started laughing, and I was like, "Hey," because I didn't know she was on Love Island, and then you were like, no, I'm being serious. She actually was on Love Island, and we went, right, okay, sorry, we thought you were joking.
Yeah.
But then Claire turned around and actually cracked a joke, and nobody laughed. Because we went, and she went, and me and you just looked at each other and went, we're that fucked up.
Yeah, we can't tell.
Because we can't tell who's joking and who's not now,
Yeah.
because you just assume that everybody's either telling a joke or not.
Or when somebody's telling a long story and you're going, going like dark, and you're like,
yeah,
is there a joke? Is there a punchline coming here?
There's a punchline.
And you're like, and then it's like, as you say, being from West Belfast, we tell these stories, you know, that need you to kind of buy into it. And if there's a punchline, fair enough, but sometimes it's an actual serious story.
Yeah.
And as a comedian, you're kind of waiting, going, do I laugh at a certain point, you know, or is this, and then when it ends and it is just a sad story, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
and then you're like going, that's a bit disappointing.
Or you're ready to go like,
you're waiting.
no, he died.
Oh,
right,
time.
shit. You know?
Oh my God. I love the way that we do that, and it's like, I was chatting to somebody recently, and his mum had passed away, but she was quite old, and he was just like, nobody else knew that he was joking. Everybody else took it seriously, but I laughed, and I'm glad that I laughed, because he was joking.
Yeah.
But not that he was joking, but he was looking for a laugh, where they were resuscitating his mummy, or they were working on her up the stairs. And it didn't work, you know, she died, and they brought her down. So everybody's listening, going, what happened? And he's explaining how the paramedics work and all. And everybody's like, God, that's terrible, is it, the wake and all? And he's like, he says, and I brought her downstairs, and I said to her, you know, like, she's been sick for ages. No, he was very diplomatic with the whole thing. He's like, and he says, well, what's happening? And he says, now, you know, the paramedics, they're not allowed to pronounce you dead. And apparently is the thing, they're not allowed to pronounce dead, has to be done by a doctor.
Has to do
So he says, they're not allowed to say it. I think he was a paramedic on stage. He says, so they'll come down with her in the stretcher and the fucking cloth over her and all. And he says, well, what's happening then? And he says, is she dead? He says, well, she's not breathing on her own. And he says, I went, no problem. And I bust out laughing. Everybody else was looking at me, and I was like, that's fucking hilarious. But he was doing
she's
it.
Not
like,
breathing on her own.
He's like, do you know what I mean? Like, what other way are you going to say it? Yeah. You know, like, well, put it this way, she's not breathing on her own.
And then everybody's standing around looking at you like you're a fucking psychopath, and you're going, hold on. Imagine that, like the cloths over the face and all, but it's like,
but they're not allowed to say.
We'll have to take her to the hospital just to check.
Yeah.
It's just not going to pull a Lazarus on us. Is this a thing? Or, like, for example, I still don't know whether or not my stepdad is being mendacious when he tells me this.
Right.
But supposedly this is 100% true, that his great-grandmother was, they were waking her in the living room, as you do, and back in those days, you just basically would put the body, you didn't have doctors, like, bringing you to the morgue and fucking treat you and all the rest of it. And they had her there a couple of hours. People started coming in, bringing the sandwiches and stuff. And she woke up. And it turned out that she was just really fucking drunk. Like, she was a really, really big drinker.
It's his great-granny?
Yeah, his great-granny. So this would have been probably, like, maybe the 30s or something.
Yeah.
So, like, apparently she was just really drunk. And she fucking, like, everybody went, oh, right.
Oh, fuck.
Right. False alarm.
I'd say that could happen, yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently that happened in the war a lot, where they thought a lot of people who had been, I'm not sure how bad how much drink she took, but people in war, like, go into shell shock or whatever, injuries, and it looked like they're dead, no pulse, and then they got buried, and when they exhumed bodies, when they started realising this phenomenon, they seen that there were scratch marks and stuff, and that there's a percentage of people that were buried during wars and stuff.
That is fucking crazy, because I thought that was just an old tale, because they used to say that that's why they, but that's why they had, that's where the term dead ringer comes from.
The bell,
because they had a bell and it used to go down. I want buried with a mobile phone.
I've heard so many people say this.
Like, seriously. But then that's why I said I want to donate my organs, because and it's not purely for, like, selfless purposes.
Yeah.
You can't wake up in your coffin if you don't have a heart.
I know.
Right?
But in fairness, if you're bringing a mobile phone down, I don't know what fucking phone
Signal?
you're on, but basically, Signal and phone, my charge won't last 24 hours. So unless there's a charger down there, you're going to have to get electrics in. You're going to get somebody to quote for this, you know?
Yeah. Maybe a portable battery.
Yeah.
Or something, you know what I mean? Just, like, fucking plug it in. But so Mendacious, you know the way you get people around the road? I absolutely love liars. Like, I just love them. See those people, I call them Simbas, we Lion Kings. They just fucking can't help themselves. Couldn't lie straight in bed, my ma would say.
Brilliant.
You know, like, there was this girl that went to our school and she just couldn't help herself. You know, you would say to her, like, what you have for your breakfast this morning? Yeah, and she couldn't say cornflakes. She would go like lasagna.
Yeah. Spoofers.
Do you know what I mean?
People whose character was spoofing.
Yeah,
I had a wee bit of that, and I feel when I look back, I go, "Oh, why did I do that?" But see,
we all had a bit of it.
Yeah, like, but I in particular did. So I went at my primary school. Was, and I don't want to say the schools, because, like, sometimes I've done, like, charity things for them and all. I don't really like dragging them, but it was a wee bit, like, out towards BT9, right?
Okay.
You know, and I, like, being from the West, and I used to genuinely go, why am I in this class?
The kids
like,
there got new shoes.
They all, like, were, and I thought I was on some sort of, schmick replacement scheme,
like,
there had to be one in every class.
Yeah, you were the diversity hire.
Yeah, like, I genuinely think that, because every class had at least, like, maybe one or two.
Yeah.
And I remember just, like, feeling so on the back foot, because they got, like you say, new shoes, whatever fucking console was out.
Yeah.
They had it. I had to wait for about 2 or 3 years before one of my mummy's friends from work who had money would say, would they? And I would get a fucking second hand, Super Nintendo. Yeah. But it didn't do me any harm, like, so I think anyway.
Well, you're doing all right now.
But basically, so I used to go into school and be like really, feel, and I hated non-uniform days, because when you're in your uniform, you didn't feel any pressure. Yes. But see, as soon as non-uniform days came, and I'm not getting in wearing Adidas 2-stripe. Yeah. I'm not getting in wearing my 4-stripe Abbey Bass,
Abbey
from
Bass.
Nuts Corner. I used to seriously overthink it, and I would say to my mummy, right, because our Claire is like 2 years older than me, but at a time we were like the same size, growing up. Yeah. And I was like, Mummy, see if you get like a pair of 2 stripes, right, for me, and if you get 4 stripes for our Claire, my Auntie Linda, like, is a seamstress, she could sew her extra stripe on mine, and we both end up with 3 stripes for half the price,
Oh, bless!
I used to really worry about going into school because of this, but
yeah,
getting back to my mendaciousness in school, so what would happen is, if things were being talked about that, I didn't have, and they all had, or whatever, I would sometimes lie and said I had it, so they'd be talking about the new Super Mario game or whatever, like, yeah, no, I have it, and I would just start lying, and then I would get caught out that I don't have it. And I remember one year, I don't know why I said this, but it was like lying, mendacious Tourette's. I just said it, and I went, why did I say that? And I backed it up, and I surprised myself at how good I was at backing it up, and I said that hoverboards had been invented, and my dad was part of hoverboards being invented. Like, what? And because we're talking about Back to the Future or something, and they were like, They're like, and they didn't know, I thought they didn't know what my dad did for a job. He worked in Calor Gas, like it was a gas bottle factory. And somebody turned around and because like their dads, some of them worked in computers and were lawyers and architects and all. And they were like, and somebody just called me out.
Hoverboards.
And he turned around and was like, because my dad was part of the team that made the hoverboards for Back to the Future. They're making them for real and they'll be out next year. And they were like, so I went, does your dad not like work for Calor Gas? And I was just like, and then I went, yeah, how do you think they fly? And they were like, and then it became plausible. And they were like, actually, yeah, like pressurized gas might be the way, you know. So they're all going about on fucking hoverboards powered by propane and butane. And like, I genuinely told that as a pure lie. And then people just like,
that is gas.
His dad, apparently his dad's making fucking hoverboards. Like, why did I say that? You know, just stick to it. And then they wouldn't believe you then if you had actually good things. And I remember an uncle of mine bought me a Man United football. And it was gorgeous. It was like, and I didn't want to play with it in the street. You know, it was like, it was like proper and had all these patches on it. And one of the wee fellas in my class came in one day with his, and I was like, I have that, no, dead innocently. And then but sure, your dad's making fucking hoverboards. So I was like, I'm never going to live this down. Wouldn't even believe me at a football now.
Do you know that I do? I have moments like that too. Like I remember, I think it stems from that feeling of like not having enough, like not having what other people have. Like for example, I remember telling someone that she was like, yeah, my mummy has this iron. Who gives a fuck, right?
You had
my mummy has this iron and it like and it just steams everything right away. And like it heats up really fast. And I went, yeah, ours heats up really fast. It cools down really fast too. Like you just turn it off and it's cold. And I do not know why I said this. And she went, oh, ours doesn't do that. Like, and I was like,
yours all of a sudden was way better.
Yeah, but I was like, why do I even care? And then I remember getting really panicky. Like, what if she asked to see my iron?
Yeah.
What if she touches my iron? After?
A web of lies. You know, you have to remember.
What a wicked web of lies. Yeah, keep me up. I need to remind my man never to iron anything if she comes over to our house, because if she touches our iron and it's still warm, she'll know I was bullshit.
There was one like when we first started in first year. I know, like, you're only, like, getting to know these, like, new people in your class for the first time.
Yeah.
There was a wee lad in my class, and he done something similar where, like, he had an iPod Touch, and nobody had an iPod Touch yet, you know, and we're like, Jesus, where'd you get that? And right, this is like, fair play to him for coming up with this, because this is so fucking random. But he says he was a go-kart driver, right? And he won it at like the fucking like
championships,
like
go-kart
championships in Japan.
Do you want to know something?
He didn't say he won it. He says he came third place, and that was the prize.
He made it believable.
Yeah, it didn't
Here, Sean, what are the odds that he wasn't being mendacious and he actually is?
No, there's no way. This is before the internet. I'm assuming like before it was everywhere, and you could have picked up a phone and checked it, so you could get away with these things for a while.
He was top 5 in the world in like the under 14s.
I love that he didn't go for first place.
Yeah, let's make it believable.
He was like, let's make the fact that I was in Tokyo this weekend totally believable.
That is so funny. The seeing you said about somebody having something that you want, you're like, oh my god. Do you remember? Now, what age are you actually?
I'm 27 today.
27. Okay, there you go. I'm 39.
I'm 36. I'm going to be 37.
So kind of same, but basically, when I was a kid anyway, do you remember, like, not portable TVs, not the ones, but like the actual sort of properly sort of portable ones that were black and white things.
Yes.
Yeah. They were tiny, but they were shite. Mm-hmm. But they were like, whoa, future.
But they had a big thing on them, didn't they?
Big
like a big aerial that you pulled up.
So like you never saw these, and this is me as well, just over talking, you know, oh my god. Mm-hmm. And I went in, and my cousin had fell out of a conker tree up in pole glass and like shattered his leg.
Oh fuck!
So he was in hospital. Sorry, he recovered. Too early with a laugh, and died. You know.
Stop it, Paddy!
But no, so he broke like really bad fall. So we went to visit him in the Royal.
Sorry,
and we came in and. My man dad like went out to talk to his man dad, and he was sitting with his auntie and uncle from the other family. You know, when your cousins would have aunties and uncles from the other side.
They're not.
I don't really know
ones.
you, but so I came in. They were sitting there, and he was one of these, you know, drank in DC, bit of a jack the lad, and I knew he was always a bit of a slagger. And I came in and I was like, hi, yes, and I had him a cousin and all, and he was sitting and his leg was up, there was pins and everything. And then they had brought him down a wee portable TV thing, and I was like, oh my god. And I was like, Patrick, can I see this? And I was like checking it on and his uncle said, well, what do you think of that? I was like, I wanted one of them for Christmas. And I was going to ask Santa for it and all, and then I was looking at Argus, and I went on and on and on about how much I wanted one of these for Christmas. And he went, after I finished talking, I remember looking at me, he just went, I was talking about his fucking leg. I was like, I was asking Santa for one for Christmas, and he let me go on and on about it, and he's just like, talking about his fucking leg. And I was just like, oh, yeah, it's really bad. Just learn to shut up.
I tell you what, it'd be fucking worth it if I could get one of him. Next thing you know, you're climbing Conkers trees. But see what you just said? He fell. It's such a childhood throwaway phrase. Like, I fell out of a Conker
tree, yeah. Because they were so precious, you know.
Do you remember? My kids still do it to this day. They go to Lady Dixon.
Aye.
And they're like, well, Curtis is the biggest child of them all because he's the one that's climbing up and going, get the Conkers, you know. Yeah. And do you know what you call the inside of a Conker when it's not ready yet? A Cheez-It.
Really? Is that real, or
it's real?
Are you being mendacious?
I'm not being mendacious. It's fucking true. I swear to God. But yeah, he shattered his leg. Did you get the TV for Christmas?
The two of us, as soon as you were like, do you know what to call the inside of a Conker? Right? And like the wee joke part of our brain was.
What's
going,
the funniest thing I can say here? There's only a certain amount of time you can keep that going.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, no, don't, nobody talk. Hold on, I'll get it. I'll fucking get
it.
Yeah. It was, but no, I didn't know that. Cheez-It.
Yeah, we Cheez-It. Yeah,
we missed the Conkers this year. I think they kind of went early, and like we went out.
Global warming,
fuck's sake. It's all fucking. You don't know when they're going to come out now, but
Tadpole's out in December. What the fuck's going on?
But yeah, that was. I remember actually the pond in Lady Dixon. We took the kids over, and it was literally hopping with frogs.
Yeah,
I've never seen the amount of frogs ever in my life. They'd all just come out.
Because all the French people left Ireland. They're allowed to live. We're free.
Eating for years. But basically, this. So and then I put a wee story up about it just because it was class looking.
Yeah.
And then. I think Lady Dixon or the council had to put a message up the next day going, and it was because of my story going, please be mindful, because apparently everybody flocked to this.
Flocked to the frogs.
Taking frogs and all, you know, stealing them. It's like, could all the Westies that follow Paddy please not come over to BT9 to take our frogs?
Yeah, Paddy, stop bringing in the Raff.
Yeah. These are actually going to be served in one of the restaurants. You know?
And with a nice what souffle? What was it you were talking about?
What was I?
I'm going to get a wee ganache.
And a wee toady bowl of garlic sodas.
Wee ganache and a wee toady bowl of garlic sodas. Tell me this. I want to show you the dirty word.
Oh, is there a dirty word as well?
There is a dirty word. And it's usually some sort of paraphilia.
Okay.
An unnatural love for something.
Okay.
So.
Cinephilia?
Mm-hmm.
Have I had to guess what this is?
Yes. Try and guess.
Is this what the women do to the George Clooney cutouts?
No,
on his face.
Cinephilia on Clooney's face. No, cinephilia is actually cedo meaning food.
Oh.
And philia, like fond of, love of.
Yeah.
Right? So I wanted to tell you about this because I had a gig reading this. Like, actually, this is written by, she was a practicing psychologist. She was a sexologist. Mm-hmm. And it has, like, stories in it of, like, personal things that have been recounted to her as well. But pedophilia, or botulonia, sex with sausage. Pedophilia refers to those who use food for sexual purposes, right? Okay. So it can be masturbation aids are found in the form of corn cobs, squash, cucumbers. But
so this is like people using objects as opposed to getting turned on by food?
No, they get turned on by food as well. Like they're the whole act of like the gastronomic food. So there's like a game. This is, I was like,
we're not going to play it, are we?
No, we're not.
Where's this going, for fuck's sake?
One game is used.
That's what you say whenever a cucumber's like, where's this going?
Very good. There's also a game that people play at parties, which I think I actually might break out at the next dinner party, where you give everybody a banana.
Right.
And you have to get them to carve the most anatomically correct penis out of the banana.
How big are these bananas now?
Do you know
the wee baby ones.
Yeah.
That'll do you.
Do you know bananitos? You can get those wee bananitos.
I need a Cheez-It.
Very good. No, just clean it.
That's the balls.
Just wash it for fuck's sake. But yeah, there's one that's used where the male partner, this is going to get scary, is first immobilized. Right? Immobilized, yeah. I don't know what that means. Like in terms of just fucking give him an injection.
It's get you DLA.
Yeah. And then it says, a paper plate is cut so that a 2-inch diameter hole is made off centre.
Right. Off centre, yeah.
2-inch. Respectable.
Right, okay.
The plate is held over the male genitals, right, and these are pulled through so that the genitals now look as though they're being served on a platter. Lukewarm spaghetti and meatballs are served.
And a wee Tony bowl of garlic soda.
And a wee Tony. All day. The wrap spaghetti around the willy and stuff, and then they eat the meatballs and pretend that it's his balls.
Jesus Christ.
I was like, what the fuck is going on in the world?
That people are... As long as they're not harming anybody, like, this is all fine. But I would just be like, I would just be thinking of the washing up after. I'm like, for fuck's sake, there's not...
There's fucking spaghetti and meatballs all over the table.
My dishwasher hasn't been empty. Fucking forget about it.
Spunketti. But yeah, I just see this book. It has been an untapped well of brilliance.
That's the ball in bolognese. The balls.
That's the one. Spicy meatball.
No, do you know what genuinely spaghetti was called in our house? 100% spaghetti bollock naked. My dad would like, having spaghetti bollock naked. And then we started saying it as kids, and then they was like, no, you're actually not supposed to say that. Oh, fucking hell.
Kids are brilliant that way, but to the pick up on stuff, I was, we went to Ballycastle one year, and we were on the bus, and I heard my mummy telling my aunt, I just remember sitting on the beach, absolutely freezing, going, please, mummy, can we go home? My lips were blue, right? And I heard her telling me aunt, fuck's sake, we were ball froze there, weren't we? And then my wee granny asked us how it was, and I was only a wee Tony Bowley gardener, sorry. And she went, what was it like? Did you enjoy Ballycastle? And I said, well, we're ball froze. Work, my mummy. My granny spat her tea. She was like, is that the way you're talking in front of the child?
But yeah. Ball froze, Ballyc froze. I used to do that as well, where if I heard a word and I thought, oh, that might be a wee bit, you know, I would go and like look it up in a dictionary or something, you know, like and try and or else if I couldn't find the word or whatever, I would ask my ma and I would know if it was a bad word. Her reply, she would shout, would be like, never mind. And when they said never mind in that tone, you're like, oh, this is fucking... And I remember vividly, there was an advert for Thornton's, remember the chocolate shop? And it was people going past the window and they would look and it was what they were saying in their internal monologue and you could hear it and the guy up was like, ooh, I must buy Clarissa in the office these. You know, she like da-da-da. And at the end, this woman goes, oh, I must buy them for George. Apparently chocolate's an aphrodisiac. And I went, oh, that's an interesting word, aphrodisiac. And the way it ended, it was the punchline of the thing. I was like, I wonder what that is. And I like walked over to the bottom of the stairs and I was like, Mommy. And she's up in the bathroom. I was like, what? And I was like, what's an aphrodisiac? I was about 5 or 6 at times. Like, never mind. I was like, oh, fucking, any time. And then there was a show. So there was a comedian back in the day, like called Tony Slattery. You called him, and he was on Have I Got News for You? Or no, well, what do you call it? Whose Line Is It Anyway?
I used to love
watching that, and I loved him. He looked like my uncle or something, and he was really funny. And it turns out he's Irish, you know.
So he has that look about him where
there was something, and I thought he was brilliant. So I used to always like look out for his bits, and I would have been about literally, and I had to go back and look at the time. It was 1991, so I would have been 7. And he got a show of his own, and it was called Just a Gigolo, and I didn't know what a gigolo was, and it's a male prostitute, right? So I remember going, and it was on ITV Sunday at ITV. His new show, Tony Slattery and Just a Gigolo, and I was like, oh, what's straight to the bottom of the stairs, Mummy. She's like, what? And I was like, this is about 2 days after I asked her what a fucking aphrodisiac is. I mean, what's a gigolo? It's like, never mind. She's going, what the fuck's this?
I went to the Irish school, so we like had a bit of a delay, you know, in learning the dirty words, you know what I mean? Like, so we were maybe 6 months behind everybody else in learning things. So like, I used to catch up with my mate in the street who went to just like a normal school, and like we used to sit in the back of my dad's van, and I used to go like, right, fill me in. Well, I learned this week. He used to give me all
the time I did that with my mate, I got pregnant.
Fill me in the back of a van.
And I used to go, right, okay.
You're jotting them down.
Yeah.
And I used to go in the school and hey, lads, I want to hear this one.
You were the oracle. Dishing out the words.
The Irish boys. Oh my God, I've absolutely loved having you on, Paddy. Thank you
It's been great
so
crack.
fucking much for coming.
No problem.
And yes, you're brilliant. Have you got anything coming up? Are you?
We are sold out, I think, on the waterfront. I have a tour
Brilliant.
next year. Next
Right.
year?
Next
Tour
year.
next year.
Tour next
Or a
year.
tour next year.
I'm
Turn of the
sure.
fucking night.
I'm sure. We told you about the garlic studies.
Tour next year. Starting in sort of springtime. So
Right.
doing and there's like 26, 27 dates. There's a load of them sold out. Might put on more. So that's next year. Between now and then, kind of writing that show.
Yeah.
I don't know how long you kind of give yourself to write, for a certain, but like,
Yeah.
I just kind of take a couple of months, write the show.
Get it
And,
sorted. And
yeah,
then...
like I practice a lot in the shed, and
Yeah.
shed at the end of the garden. And I just see I think that's why there's Westies. We don't like performing it for people, like even friends and family.
Yeah.
So I
No, I
kinda
don't. You always feel
develop
like an idiot, don't you?
And even when I'm doing it on my own in the shed, I feel like a dick. I'm like, there's nobody else here, and I'm doing
You're
it. It's like,
judging
it's
yourself.
Your job. It's your job to do this. But I just like I literally will like to sit there and then I'll do it, and then I go, oh, why am I doing this? Like, there's nobody watching it.
Yeah.
I'm so
Yeah.
scared of the person next door hearing me like practice guitar.
That's why I built the shed at the end of the garden, was because being in the band and stuff, and I live in a mid terrace house, and I was like, fucking everybody's going to hear me, even like playing guitar. I felt embarrassed. So then we got like a shed at the end of the garden, and once I got that, I started playing guitar better, and then that's whenever I started doing stand up. I was like, I'm going to have to try this, because I was able to kind of